Welcome, Disc Golf World, to round 2, back 9 of the 2023 Dynamic Discs Open presented by Dynamic Discs. We're here on Ace Run Pro in a beautiful Emporia Community Club setting. Slightly windy day. I'm Connor O'Reilly.
Here with Holly Finley, and I'm also playing on the card, so I'll get to be doing a bit of commentating on myself, which is always fun.
Yeah, super excited to get call your shots. You've had some strong putts so far on the front 9, and Deann Carey, 7 down on that front 9, really. Oh, sorry, 7 down overall. She was 5 down on the front 9 with yes. 2 bogeys. Or sorry, no, she was.
Deann got
4 down
six birdies on the front 9. I can remember that.
A lot of blue.
Let's check out hole 10. This is a new hole. It's actually a combined hole. Last year, the pin was right here on the right side, and that's where your drive should land now to give you a nice birdie attempt. If it does land there, you should have about a 280-foot uphill shot, with the only danger being this tree landing behind it and also the out-of-bounds sidewalk surrounding the basket. Deann Carey up first. You already know what disc she's throwing. Lone Star curl.
Yeah, she's really been utilizing that curl, showing off its versatility. She's thrown it hyzer, she's turned it, she's thrown it straight.
Velediaz up second. Her shot moving from right, but it gets caught up there on a tree, safe in bounds. I like that spotter. He is invisible. Sai hits the gap.
Ooh.
Skips right in front of the tree that Macie dropped down at.
Holly, what are you throwing here?
Pink Shrike.
Pink Shrike, a little bit of height, and then the flip. Get the straight, and that looks very well placed right there. You have the biggest gap to the green and far enough down that you have the ceiling to get there.
And there is a bit of out of bounds early on the left. You can see with that flag. Macie just looking for a chip shot. She'll have to play the hole for par. Sai also in a primo landing position.
Yeah, that V tree that you flew right of and she flew just in front of is definitely the one you got to test if you want to get into this money zone.
And Sai has landed behind that very thick tree.
Yeah, maybe the biggest trunk on the property. Definitely a place you don't want to be on this otherwise wide open green.
That's a pretty big brag. If I was a tree, I'd be like, yeah, I've got the biggest trunk on the property.
Son. Come on.
Been here the longest. My shot lands behind the tree as well, and Deann Carey sends that curl right up next to the basket. She'll have a drop-in birdie here on hole 10. Macie's third shot.
Trusting the forehand at that out-of-bounds path. Gets it to skip back. I believe that's her Tour Series Justice from last season.
Sai going to a straddle putt right side of the tree. Gives it a little wrist flick, but not quite enough height.
Yeah, she was seeing right to left head as well as you here, so it can be a tricky angle for a right-hand putter.
It's a fairly short putt, but the wind really had to think about the angle.
And I don't know how you stayed balanced right there. I probably would have fallen over if I tried that.
That's yoga, baby.
Every time someone makes a big straddle putt now on the course, I usually say, do your yoga, kids.
It's the truth. Macie sneaks in her par putt right over the edge. You can see, like you said, she gives it just enough to get it there and go in. And Deann Carey with basically, 6 feet for birdie? Her putt was shorter than I am tall. And Sai will have to settle for a par here on the 10th. As well as me.
You and Sai were in sync, bending down to pick up your stuff right there. It's kind of funny.
And D with the only birdie.
Hole 11, we have a new hole here. Par 3, 316 feet, plays up the hill the entire way and is, after the last tee shot, pretty much the only hole yet forcing these players to play straight with some left finish. On the last tee shot, you can kind of finish straight and still be alright, but this one really forcing that power hyzer angle. Not a ton of ceiling to work with here either, so you kind of have to test it, especially if you want to put it close.
This hole playing slightly uphill, it really comes in more around 330. Deann Carey. Her shot comes out early left and she does not make it past the wall of trees.
You know, Macie has all the power for this one. Let's see if she can get any skip there. Ooh. Got a little more carry off that crosswind than I thought, and just outside the bullseye for her. The chance to get back to even par.
Sai hits the gap beautifully, hyzering in towards the basket.
Man, I don't know why Sai doesn't throw more hyzer. She really sets those so well. She's got all the angles on lock.
Sai will be up there in the circle putting for birdie.
Holly getting a little flat on this, looking for some kind of skip. But you've already made good on a putt or two from that range, so tailwind at your back. I know you're going to fire that one strong.
And Deann Carey was trying to decide if she was going to go sidearm or backhand for her upshot, and she's decided for this standstill putter backhand. And sneaks it up for a bullseye putt at par. 38 feet for birdie.
Actually, you might have had a little bit off the right there that time of day. Maybe you thought I was going to kind of blow you over, and that was a certifiable kick off the pole. That was a putt that felt like it should have stuck.
Yeah, that one hurt my feelings. Deann Carey.
They've done a pretty good job all weekend, so.
Yes, they have.
I haven't. That's the first thing I've seen, really, that felt like it got robbed.
Deann takes a par. Macie makes a long, nice birdie putt here on the 11. Sai looking for her first birdie on the back 9. She gets it.
Yeah, really clean line out of the hand for her.
And a boogie for me.
Yeah, I like how you kind of just stepped to the side, kept to yourself there, and took a moment to collect.
All right, hole 12, par 3, 353 feet. This is also a new hole added to the course for this year. Most right-handed players are going to take this route that the drone is flying. You've got out of bounds on the right side. You can see indicated by the little white flags. You can get a nice low shot to hit the gap, get you a little hyzer flare skip into these wood chips. You'll have a birdie putt.
We're likely to see Macie take the forehand route. Everybody else is going to take that right side gap.
I love how low Macie keeps her forehands and still gets great distance on them. She'll have a 45-foot putt for birdie on an elevated basket.
Sai looking for some ground action, but not quite enough. Tough run on this elevated basket.
Deann reaching for her Tour Series curl again. A nice low flare shot. She'll have a birdie putt at it from 40 feet.
Nice hyzer here. A little bit of leafage, but didn't slow it down too much.
Ananda.
It's a putt off. Long looks. Will we
From
get
70.
a run back here?
Oh. Little flag touch. I didn't want any taste of that.
Can't blame you.
I just had a putting mishap before. Decided I'd lay that one up for a drop-in par. I'll watch my card mates take a brave run at it, though. Macie gives hers a nice loft, but she hyzers away. Doesn't connect for her birdie. Let's see if Deann Carey can get one.
Carey from 40.
Oh, a bit of an air ball and behind the tree. She gave it the height. Just didn't line it up right. To save par, Deann. Solid.
I came in a little more hyzer than we're used to seeing her there. Maybe to get around that tree a bit. And capitalizes on the comeback.
I think a big confidence key in disc golf is having the courage to go for long putts and knowing that you have the ability to make the comeback. Macie taps in her par putt, as does Sai Ananda.
Yeah, definitely opens up your scoring opportunities, especially if you are able to make those comebackers. But it can also get you in trouble, so always a balance to find. And you're always trying to find it. It changes every day, and that's the beauty of a game like disc golf. You just keep coming back. In hole 13, this is going to be the hardest hole on the course. I'd argue it should be called a par 4 as is or be redesigned, but these players got to play it. And right now, a 3 is going to be an A-OK score here. Chip some kind of shot over towards that bushy tree we just flew past on the left. If you can get past it, you're going to be very happy, but you'll still have some work to do coming into this low ceiling approach that moves from the left to the right. Haven't yet seen a player throw over the out of bounds to the right side, so likely not going to see that happen here today.
Velediaz up first with a forehand off the tee, and she has landed in that gap between the bush and the out of bounds strip of trees.
Now I know along this line of trees in front of the tee, there is a gap in there that you can maybe choose to throw a backhand hyzer. I wonder if Macie's setting herself up for that or not.
Yes, she is definitely trying to land in that gap so she can at least get a forehand or backhand up to the green. Deann Carey with the curl again. Look at this shot. She flexes it through the gap, get a finish on the disc. That's the best shot I've seen on this hole.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can do down that left side. And
I gave Deanna a look of just pure... I was just so impressed and surprised because I haven't seen anyone play this hole worth a darn
back,
yet.
Saw your eyebrows at the top of your head, and she was like,
she did.
Yeah, I earned it. That's great.
And I didn't test a distance driver off the tee. I was just looking to land in this gap.
Yeah, you played that same angle as Deann, just a little slower disc, so it didn't fight back left, but I feel like you threw pretty much the same line, same speed.
I'm going to try a Deann shot tomorrow.
I like it. I think you throw that same exact release, you'll probably be right where she was.
And Macie up first. You can see she's lined up perfectly with the gap. Sends another forehand into the green, but that's an aggressive flare skip. She'll have a 45-foot putt for par.
Oh, this is going to be tricky to get enough power to get there without hitting her arm.
We've seen Sai utilize a lot of lower body strength on her putting and upshot. And she hits that tree, unfortunately, but that's still a putt.
Yeah, really good body control in that shot.
Sai's got a long putt. She's got a good spin on it, so she can putt from a very long distance.
I'm going back to that Mako, looks like, trying to get it to hold. just a little bit overturned, but it's a tough upshot.
And Deann Carey, you can see how great her drive set her up for this nice, short, open approach, and she juices it a bit. She's going to have a circle's edge par putt.
Yeah, low ceiling makes it where you can't just float into this green, so it definitely adds difficulty coming in.
Sai trying to get that straddle par putt going, but clips some foliage on the way there.
Holly centers up for the long par with that DX stud. What a putt. You just get so much pop out of that high compact stroke you have. And yeah, it's a really good wind fighting tool.
Velediaz for par. She gives it a stepper. No connection.
I haven't seen one of those out of her all day. Maybe with that uphill lie, she felt good about it.
Deann Carey for par. Cans the circle's edge putt. Deann has made a lot of good putts today.
Man,
And did we see
crazy
any
to
twos here? Did you see any twos on 13? Any miracle twos, a throw in? I didn't hear about any.
13 played at 1.06 strokes over par, and we did not see a single two straight days in a row.
It's a toughie.
We only saw 23% of the field par. The
That's
rest bogey or worse.
That is tough. Let's check out hole 14, a really fun par 5, 893 feet. Off the tee, you've got a lot of gaps to choose. The left is the best if the wind is right. I prefer the right side. If there's a headwind, get as far as you can off the tee. Your second shot needs to land past that reddish bush we just went by. Third shot floating in, up and over, hopefully giving yourself a putt for a 4. As long as you can keep it in bounds and get 300 feet on a couple of first shots, you should be set up for a birdie. Deann Carey pulls her shot to the right and ends up out of bounds in the yards on the right side, and she didn't even get an invite to that pool party.
They were having some good time over there, and they're definitely giving some good cheers for the disc golf shots.
I send mine right into a tree and make it about 80 feet off the tee. Macie takes a forehand left gap, and as we've seen, her shots are fairly low, but lucky for her, she got caught up and is safe inbounds on the left side.
Sai redeems the card with probably the only game plan executed shot of the bunch, but a lot of room left here. Birdie could still be on the table with 2 really good shots. Par definitely attainable. Holly hitting flat on this strike, getting it to fight. And little tree trunk stealing an extra 8-10 feet from her.
This will be Deann Carey's third shot.
Trusting that curl flat, almost a little bit of turn over the out of bounds that she just put it in. That shows a lot of trust as a player in your mechanics and in your disc.
This will be Macie's second shot, another forehand.
Talk about trust once again. Can it come back?
Oh, unfortunately, that grass is too thick. She does not get a skip, and she's now out of bounds on the left side. And Sai taking a low, direct route, gets a good bit of distance on her shot. I've got about 330 to that out of bounds on the left, but I didn't like the headwind, so I opted for hyzer right side.
Tons of commitment there from you, and you find the base of that trunk. Gonna have to do a little turnaround putter shot up from there, probably. Maybe a mid, depending on how you're feeling.
And at that rock wall and beyond is out of bounds, so Macie just pushing it a little to the right side. Make sure to keep it safe. You can see the flag from here, so Deann's trying to get it as close as she can, and she just doesn't put enough on that. Not enough height, not enough at the right disc choice, and she's bummed out. Deann's a score watcher. She watches the score after every time she touches the disc. Every time we get to the next tee pad, she's got U-disc up. She knows exactly where she stands after every single throw. So she was stressed out at that point because she had made some mistakes.
Yeah, she knows she's climbing in a good spot.
Yeah, she just didn't want to give anything away at that point. Macie, what a finessed upshot. That takes a lot of skill with that slope, and you can't see the basket.
Yeah, if she hits even a foot or two, especially 3 feet short on that front edge of the slope, she does not get to the basket long putt, but crests the hill.
I T-Rex my upshot because I've got that tree to the right, and I left myself with a really long putt for myself. Let's see if Deann Carey can make this par save. She gives it a good run. That's a brave run, too.
Getting down to that knee with the down slope.
I'm looking for a par save from about 45.
Oh, that looked and probably felt really good.
I thought it was in.
Yeah, those ones can be hard sometimes. You feel like you did what you needed to, but just off by such a slim margin. Whoa, Sai just delicately.
Does not fall in, unfortunately.
Okay, I thought it stuck, but
Goes out the back side.
was she a little left, or did it kind of cut through there?
Yeah, a little left.
Yeah.
Through the back, a little left. And Deann will have to take her first bogey of the back 9. Macie will take a bogey as well after going out of bounds on the left side, and I will walk away with a bogey after a short tee shot and a shorted upshot, and Sai with the only par of the group.
Yeah, definitely kind of a biffed hole for the card, one that most of you ladies are looking to at least give yourself a chance, or a par as the mistake.
Trilogy Challenge is back, y'all. You get 3 discs,
The Retro Orbit Pure.
Tournament Ice Orbit Warship,
Fusion, Ice, Orbit, Vandal. Are you ready to hit the course with these 3 discs?
And go check out trilogychallenge.com.
Hole 15 is going to be a Power Hyzer par 3 for most of these players. You might need to get a little bit flat on the hand and have it fade late, but either way, this one's pretty wide open. Nothing really in the way if you're playing right hand, backhand. Just a matter of hitting the angle, hitting the power, and maybe just getting a little gentle 1 hop skip. Give yourself a circle 1 putt.
Sai Ananda up first, and this hole does play as an island. Players must land on the island, and Sai has hyzered out of bounds. She will have to proceed to the drop zone, throwing 3. Macie Velediaz up next.
Flat, but also looks to be fading early. This one digs into the ground though.
Deann Carey, you already know what disc she's throwing.
This round is an advertisement for Deann's Tour Series curl, and she's selling it well. Little stood up, little hyzer out of Holly, and just not quite able to hold straight. Maybe kind of thought that crosswind was going to do more than it actually did for a couple of you ladies. It's easy to do out here. Kansas it's given us so many memories of just making our discs not do what we thought they would.
Sai with her 3rd shot from the drop zone. That'll be a drop-in bogey for her.
As hard as it is, we don't want to let our past traumas control our current situation. We just want to learn from them and then do what we want to do in the now.
Macie with a long birdie putt. Nice stepper from her, but not quite enough height to get in the basket.
It was the height. It was just right.
Deann Carey for birdie. Very well done. Deann came up to me after the bogey on the previous hole and said, well, now I'll just have to birdie the next 4 holes. So step 1 complete by birdieing hole 15.
Will be the easiest task with 16 and 17 coming up, but Deann's shown that she has all the shots she needs to score out here and is putting strong today. Drop in bogey for you, as well as for Sai. We're getting ready to go to the island. Get your shades on, grab your umbrella. Excitement is waiting.
Hole 16, if you're on Instagram, you've seen it all week. 320 feet, a par 3. You've got to land on the island or else you proceed to the drop zone. A lot of players say this is a 2 or a 4. I feel like you might as well go for it because laying up to the right side does not guarantee you a par. So you can either go for the island or lay up to the safe fairway on the right.
Holly, if I come to Emporia, practice and play the event and don't post on hole 16, am I too cool for school? Or?
Are you even a disc golfer? Deann Carey up first after a birdie on 15. She sends it to the right side with too much turnover.
No. Wait, it almost looked like it was going to find that inbounds pocket, but catches the low branch.
Donation to the drink for Deann Carey.
Well, she'll be able to putt from the drop zone and grab her disc at the same time, so that's at least a benefit of being there.
And Macie decides she doesn't want any part of it. She lays up to the safe fairway on the right, and Macie's got just under 400 feet for a backhand hyzer, so it's not that she can't reach it, she just chose not to.
Yeah, it's just this one's, I feel like for the FPO division, you show tailwind, you show left to right wind. Most players are going to attack. In this headwind, though, definitely playing a little scarier. And Holly trusting that strike that she said that she's been liking. So close to the right angle, just lifted a bit in that headwind and slowed down.
I also donated a strike to the drink. And this is Macie's second shot, looking to get it on the island and give herself a putt.
That strike's had a little too much Tito's. It's ready for some water now.
And Macie shorts the upshot and is not safe on the island. Biggest mistake from laying up, which is why you might as well just go for it. And Sai with her second shot.
Wow.
Off the wall, out of bounds.
I believe she was running that almost as firm as that was. That was.
And as I said earlier, laying up to the right side doesn't even guarantee you a par.
And I'm guessing y'all are back there trying to figure out whether she goes to drop zone or plays from the last spot in bounds.
Our PDGA marshal actually told us incorrectly, and I suggested that Macie reread the caddy book because I interpreted it otherwise, and we came to the decision that players, after they lay up safely to the fairway on the right, must play regular out-of-bound rules. So it's only if you go out of bounds off of the...
But the drop zone remains optional, so Macie could choose to go to it instead of... Okay.
Not if you lay up safe to the fairway on the right.
Oh, wait, that's... I'm confused.
You can check out the caddy book later.
Need to rewatch how Macie played the hole.
All right, so we had a bit of trouble here on hole 16 with no one sticking the island. Macie will take a double, Sai will take a double, and Deann and I will walk away with single bogeys. We're looking for our disc on the edge. I actually forgot about mine because we had so much discussion about the drop zone and the out of bounds lie and what was the proper way to play the hole.
Also, if you've flown over the island, you get to progress to it. That's the only way. Anyways, we are on the next hole. Hole 17, par 4. Very challenging finisher here. 645 feet. This first shot's going to be dominated by the ceiling restrictions that it offers. You really got to come in with a specific height. You got to be low enough to get under the branches, but high enough to beat the hillside. Setting yourself up for a second shot over all this out of bounds if you want to score birdie. It's going to offer you some options if you can get to the perfect landing zone off the tee, but it's going to be hard to do.
Carey up first. Low shot, pulling it to the right. If you land up to the right side, that will give you a nice setup for birdie if you have the gap and the right ceiling height.
Yeah, if you can get well into these tree trunks and give yourself a clean swing, you're going to be happy. And Holly, you weave yourself all the way through there. It's going to be a great spot.
Macie opting for the forehand off the tee so she can also end up more towards the right side of the fairway.
Yeah, hanging out a little bit short of yours. Do you know what disc that is that Sai's playing? That
I don't. Sai with a nice turnover, bit of a finish on it. She has the longest drive of the group. But up first, we have Macie's second shot, going for the birdie, going across the out of bounds.
needs some skip.
A very courageous shot. Oh, skips from out of bounds in, and that's when the green flag just makes you feel so much better.
Yeah, it can be a crapshoot getting a skip on some of the spots in this course, so.
Deann Carey opting for this sneaky hyzer, trying to get herself a birdie. What a great shot.
Another inside the circle birdie putt for Deann. Not going to be those 4 straight birdies she was looking for, but maybe she can score 3 of the 4 for 2 down on the final 4.
I went to reach for the white Tito Shrike, and I left it in the drink on 16, so I had to pull out my second most overstable disc.
Great improv there. It's a hard situation to be in as a player.
That's what Macie said. And then with the longest drive, we have Sai looking at this birdie option. She sends it.
Yeah, you could hear it. She was wide of what she intended, but works out.
Macie up first for her birdie putt. Gives it a little jumper, but no connection for her here on the 17th. Sai from about 25 for birdie.
Putting back up the hill into a little bit of headwind. Yeah, she just hasn't quite had the strong putting days that we've seen out of her most of the season today. And I feel like this is one of the first times that the wind has kind of picked up in the recent months. We've been playing in the Northwest, and we really haven't seen a ton of wind on the tour. This round kind of making some of these players have some question marks.
Deann Carey able to capture a birdie here on the 17th, and Sai will walk away with par.
Easy par for Macie. It's been a tough round for her. She's got a really good skill set to attack this course. Great birdie there for you, Holly. 2 well-executed shots.
I think that's the first time I've ever birdied this hole in the tournament, so personal bonus for me.
It's elusive.
Here we are on the last hole of moving day, a par 4, 417 feet, and this is actually a new tee pad for the FPO this year. We've got out of bounds on the left, and obviously the drink on the right is out of bounds. Your tee shot has to be very precise. The opening is actually a little close to that out of bounds on the left, so you'll see a lot of players pull their shot to the right and send it a little lower than normal, trying to get under this branch and avoid any hyzer finishing OB shots. Deann doesn't like how centered she released that, and luckily she stays in bounds.
Yeah, low is the safe miss here. If you do have some height on it, it needs to be traveling flat or even turning a little bit before it fights late. Holly trusting maybe a roadrunner here?
Yes, sir.
Great test.
I'm pretty proud. I can't lie to you guys.
I'm proud too. You don't even know my bag that well, and you've said the correct thing every time. Macie opts for a forehand, and she is
Sit down.
rolling behind that tree, but this is a par 4, so still birdieable from there. And Sai decided she was going to go for a maximum distance shot, but with a safe height. skips off of Deann.
She was so close to actually skipping off the
"Get
top.
outta
I think if
here."
she did, that might have ramped her up towards the basket a little further, but
Get out of here,
been
Deann.
cool.
And Macie with a nice sidearm up shot here. She leaves it a little shorter than you'd want on an elevated basket.
yeah, very exposed green. Last putt of the day adds just extra layer of difficulty to it.
And I shorted my drive, so I was having a bit of difficulty deciding between a throw and a jumper. So I send a jumper up into the circle.
Yeah, definitely a luxury to have a long-range jumper like that from Hutton or 40 or wherever you were.
And Deann hits the bricks with her premium plastic upshot disc and rolls. She'll have a circle's edge putt for birdie.
Yesterday we saw hole 18 play as the easiest hole in the course. Today it was dethroned by hole 3. Still playing almost a half stroke under par though.
Velediaz for birdie. Off the tower. Velediaz doesn't have a lot of spin on her putt, so even if it hits the tower, the ricochet isn't that bad.
Holly to close out strong with birdie. It's a rough back 9 for you, but finish with some pride there on 17 and 18.
This is Deann Carey with her birdie putt from circle's edge.
Finish out a solid round. Deann able to capitalize. She's feeling it. And that's going to vault herself up the leaderboard just a little bit and keep her on our chase card here for tomorrow. And while I shout out Ella Hansen's only eagle on the day here on 18, we have to jump back to 16 and make sure we recognize Caitlin Belty for picking up the unbelievable ace. I heard it was her first ever tournament ace, and that's definitely just such a memorable one.
What a day for her. Wow. And what a day for Deann Carey, coming in at 6 under par. Let's take a look at this top 10 leaderboard. Haley King has moved into a tie for first place with Ella Hansen and Holland Hanley. Deann Carey has moved up into 5th place, tied with Kristen Tatar.
Now, I know there's a 3-way tie for first, and that's exciting, but we're here on the chase card with 2 players only 2 strokes back, one being Kristen Tatar, the most winning player on planet Earth in the FPO division right now. So we could very well see our first FPO chase card win of the season.
You'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for this fun day of golf at the country club. Appreciate all of you ace runners. If you'd like to support Connor and I, we have some Tour Series discs available that will for sure get you birdies. Link is in the description.
I just got goosebumps thinking about the chance of a chase card winner. If that's not enough reason to bring you back tomorrow, I don't know what is.